Hi everybody, welcome back. You're painting with Sandy and Tracy today. We're at Brushstrokes Art Studio in Tewksbury. So today we are painting our October fall theme painting, which is sunflowers. And I actually don't, what's the name of this? I can't remember. We'll tell you that later. But anyways.
Fall fun, maybe.
It's Hayrides, Pumpkins, and Apples. This is my favorite time of year because mostly it's Halloween, but I also love the fall. The leaves, the apple cider donuts, the
pumpkins. Fudge.
Yeah, all kinds of, so I'm excited. So we're going to recap for anyone who hasn't been tuning in for the last couple episodes, just to be sure you have all your supplies. So you should have, I have 4 brushes, but you should just have a variety. It doesn't matter if you have 4 or 3, but try to have a large, medium, and a small for detail. So I have 4, my large, my medium, bit of a pointy one, and then my tiny one for any details at the end.
Probably for writing words would be the best for that.
I have my rag or a paper towel on hand, or paper towels. A cup of water, any kind of cup. I have my large one, but you can have a solo cup or anything because you will need water for the brushes to wash them and when we begin. And then a paint palette to contain your paints. A paper plate is perfectly fine, but I prefer to use take-home restaurant containers are perfect. And I don't think I have a cover for it. Oh, I do. Can you give me that?
Yes, I can.
So just so you know, if you haven't been watching the other episodes,
on the top. Just be careful.
If you have 2 take-home containers, save them, wash them, and then you can use it for a palette. And then when you're done, you can cover it, put an elastic band around it, and it should save like a week to 2 weeks, believe it or not. Thank you.
Yes.
So the colors for today's painting are blue and yellow because we are going to mix green. Blue and white for the sky. We have some brown for the sign, and we have some black in the other palette. Tracy has black there, which is for the center of the sunflowers. And I believe that's it. So that's all you should need today. Okay. So get your supplies ready. And it gave me that. And then we'll get started. So we are going to start by painting the sky, and then we're going to do the grass. We're going to paint the whole entire background, its background colors first, and then we'll do the sunflowers on top once it dries for a few minutes. So we'll get started. So I'm going to use my largest brush that I have. This is about an inch wide. We're going to put it in the water, soften the bristles, and then I'm going to dry it on my rag or my paper towel. And now I'm going to mix some green. What colors do we use to mix green? Well, you should know this by now. So it's blue and yellow. So let's mix a nice green with some blue and yellow.
And everybody's green may be a little different depending on the blue you have.
Which is exciting because your painting will come out different than ours, and I'm sure it will look just as good. And that's what I love. Everyone's paintings are usually different when we do our paint parties. So I have a nice green going here, and it is actually a little bit different than the one on this original, but that's great. Okay, so I have my green paint. Actually, I should do the blue first, huh? I'm going to start green.
That's fine.
Okay, so with the green, we are going to work upward strokes. So before we do that, let's just cut this canvas in half. So find our midway point. So you're holding the canvas horizontally, not vertically. Okay, this is one of our taller paintings. And we're going to find the midway point, which is about right there, and just draw a line across it. And then upward strokes, we are going to cover the whole canvas. So this will take a little bit. We can just sit and chat. Maybe Tracy has trivia for us this time. And we're going to just upward strokes, just cover the canvas, the bottom half of the canvas with green. Try not to show any white canvas. We want to cover all the white canvas with green.
Keep in mind too, if you're not seeing a lot of the green, so don't stress so much about what the color of the green is, because you just kind of have it in the background, and then you're going to overlap the sunflowers anyways. So, no, definitely. Yeah. No, fall is awesome. I love it. Super excited. I got married in the fall, so we love this fall season. And actually, today's my dog's birthday.
Aww,
he's 3 years old.
Is he really?
Yes,
wow.
he is. I know. Crazy,
so
right?
So how old was he when you got him?
12 weeks, I think. We got him from Utah.
That went by 3
years old.
Wow.
I know.
I feel like you just got him. That's crazy.
Trust me, this whole world, just the whole 6 months just went, I don't even know. Let's see. Question is, do you know what color the apples, speaking of color, what color apples come in? everybody?
I do
Or
know.
Sandy?
I do know that answer.
Okay, good.
I believe they come in red,
Yes.
yellow,
Yep.
green.
Yep. There's no
Not
other colors.
White.
There's no white apples.
Yeah, there's white
There
pumpkin.
is?
Well, there's
Oh.
off-white pumpkin, so why not apples? No, I know,
Well-
I agree with you, but could be like a golden one that's not
Well,
right.
but my little survey over here, there's only red, green, and yellow.
Oh, okay, so I got
You
it.
got
So
them
I
all
just
right.
say
I'm like,
right,
do they have albino apples that I don't know about?
I think there's albino pumpkins.
There are a ton of pumpkins.
Or maybe that's a gourd.
Yes. All
All right, so one for me.
One for you. And who knows if you got one at home. Who knows? Trying to think what else. I have a whole bunch of different fun things on here. Let's see.
So Tracy, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why did we paint the grass before the sky? That's a quiz question.
Because
There's a
we have to
good
put the
answer.
overlapping of the sunflowers and we need time to dry.
Bingo.
There we
Yes,
go.
you're
I got
smart.
it.
You're
I
good
got a point now
painter.
too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hi.
My brain isn't squishy.
So normally I would have done the sky first, but yes, we have to think of dry time. So the sunflowers need to go on top of the grass. So therefore we are doing the grass first, so it's time to dry while we do the sky. All right, so my grass is done. Is your grass done? So I'm gonna give it a little bit of dry time. No, I'm not. I'm gonna jump to the sky.
yeah, I think you
right?
should be fine.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're gonna
just
work
start
on the
at the top.
sky.
Yep.
So I did that really quick, upward strokes. And now it's time for the sky. So the sky is what color? The sky is blue and white. So we're gonna keep it somewhat light. Again, you're making your own painting. You can change it up however you want.
So if you want a darker sky, obviously there's going to be less white. If you want a lighter sky, like this is on the lighter side, you use more white.
Okay, so I'm using some blue and a touch of white. So I want my sky lighter, so I'm adding a good amount of white to it.
And did you also know that apples are a member of the rose family?
No.
I did not
That's
either.
weird, really.
I know, right?
Wow.
Crazy.
Okay, sky, left to right, strokes. I have a little bit of green on my brush still. You don't want that, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So I'm adding a good amount of white just because I want my sky to be light colored. And we're just left to right strokes, covering the whole canvas. We're starting at the top and working our way down.
And to help blend a little bit, if you find that you're not blending that well, just dip your brush in the water and it will help blend it.
Where's that voice coming from? I'm just joking. It's like you're never on screen and we don't get it.
I always joke with her and tell her I'm like Gelman. Like Gelman on the...
Who's that? Who said that?
I know, seriously. I'm your conscience over here. A little thought bubble comes up.
Oh my god, it's too funny.
Oh, yes. Actually, the Pilgrims planted the first United States apple trees in Massachusetts Bay Colony.
Really?
Yeah, make sure your brush is clean so you don't get green in the brush.
I was kind of liking that.
Oh, okay. This is her painting too, so.
Yep. Okay, so my sky is done. I am just taking green again. You don't even have to do this if yours looks fine. And I just want to kind of rough up the top a little. We don't want white, but let me mix a little bit more green. So I'm just kind of bringing my grass back over the sky.
Does anybody know how long it takes an apple tree to produce their first fruit?
5 years.
Ooh!
Wow.
4 to 5 years.
I'm
You're
really
on fire
smart
today.
yeah.
Did you check up on apple facts? What's going on?
No, I didn't. I'm just smart.
Wow.
Yeah, you got caught me. I was under the gun the last time. I actually was gonna say the Dead Sea. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that, but I was like, oh damn, why did
All
I say
right,
that?
that's okay. I'll let you have it. Let's see, what else we got here? It takes the energy from 50 leaves to produce 1 apple. Who knew? I did
That's
not know.
a fact. Okay,
That's
true.
That's what
okay.
I'm reading. I just know all these random
Yeah, no,
facts.
that's interesting.
I know, it's just crazy.
I thought we were gonna learn about sunflowers today.
Oh, I didn't
No, the
pull
apples is
sunflowers,
fine.
but I have pumpkins too.
Okay.
Because pumpkins are on there. Because I was thinking of the words that I wrote on my sign, not on sunflowers. But I love sunflowers. They're one of my favorites. There's a beautiful place it's called Colby Farm, I think.
Yeah, I drove by it the other day.
Did you?
I did. I did. Yeah, there's a lot of
Is it still
sunflower.
blooming right now?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, we went a couple years ago and it was crazy. Like we had to park like far
so
away.
pretty.
It is really pretty.
I know.
It's funny because in pictures it looks like it's so much bigger than it is, and then when you get
it's
there,
funny you said that. As I drove by, I was like,
you
is that
think it's
the
going to be
place? It looks smaller.
ginormous, and it's really not. But it's insane because then when you take pictures, you have to make sure that like Jane or Mary
love
isn't in the
taking pictures
background.
of-
or
yeah, I
whatever,
know.
So it's crazy.
All right, so I'm going to stop. I don't want to, don't do what I'm doing because we need this to dry. I'm just fixing down here. But remember, no one's going to see this. Why am I doing this? Because sunflower is going to cover right over. So, but you just want to maybe rough the top a little bit, right?
So it's not a nice, beautiful,
'cause it's
clean.
grass.
Yeah, because it's
Okay,
grass.
so now dry time, and then Tracey will take over with her black circles for the center of the sunflower. They are black. We can add some brown dots later on top, but right now they're black.
For dimension, we'll be adding that. No, definitely. It's Tracey. What you want to do if your painting isn't dry, or to test if it's dry, you want to just quickly kind of touch it a little bit here and see if there's any paint on your finger. Ours is still a little bit tacky, but we're going to go forward. It shouldn't be a problem because I'm going to be doing these circles here. As you see, the circles are all different sizes. So this one seems to be a little bit bigger. These are a little bit smaller, this one's smaller, so it gives it more dimension if you do the different sizes. So what you want to do is we're going to take our medium-sized brush.
And let them know they're using black so they don't have to be too concerned with the green being wet. 'Cause
Perfect.
it should be gonna, not real wet, but it should be fine if it's still a little bit
Yeah, because
tacky.
black is basically going to cover
It'll cover
anything. We just want to wait
It
too
won't
that
mix
isn't
with
too
it,
wet,
yeah.
too wet, because then if we add the white, then it's going to get a little bit messy. So you just want to take your medium brush. We're going to use just straight black. And we're going to draw some circles. So what I'm going to do is kind of, you can put your circles wherever you choose. This is going to be where you're going to be blocking out where your sunflowers are going to be. So here it's about 4 fingers over. I'm just going to kind of put a dot. And it's about, I'd say, if I spread my fingers out, about the width of 4. And just going to kind of do 2 dots, and you're going to do a half a circle. So I'm just going to go like this and just kind of fill it in and do a half a circle.
See how nice that black covers the green?
No worries at all.
Nicely.
So that's just 1 circle. And then over here just a little bit, eyeball it. It's just up a little bit further, probably in about 3 fingers. Like I said, this is just, you can choose where you want to put your circles. You do want them to overlap so it gives it dimension. You don't want to have them be all completely the same. You want them to be staggered. And then this one is up, let's see, this one is kind of, this is a little more like zigzagged. And as you can see, it is a little wet, but that's okay because it's the black. We're going to be adding, as Sandy had mentioned, a couple other colors to it, because if you look, there's some little dots in there of brown and white to give it a little bit of highlight. And then you're going to add another, this one seems to be a little bigger up here. So they're just circles. Everyone's like, I can't draw a circle, oh my gosh. So I just kind of take my brush and kind of scoop it. You can do like a C shape and then do another reverse C. And then you can fill it in. So you kind of have these staggered. Okay, you have one in the corner, probably about 3 fingers high. You can put a dot, and then 3 fingers over another dot. And it's just, don't overthink it. It's okay if they're not completely perfect circles. They are sunflowers. Okay, so we have ours, and then we have one other big one here. Okay, so probably a little ways down. It looks like it's kind of parallel to this one, but a little bit bigger.
So I'm thinking maybe one more sunflower you have in your original. I don't know if you care.
It doesn't matter to me.
Left. See the dead
right here.
space? Yeah, I would probably put one more.
There you go. Thank you for
Tracy,
that.
I have a good trivia question.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Maybe. I'm not the best at trivia.
Is my viewers ready for this? The redder in the leaf, the fall leaf, the redder color.
I do know this.
You know that?
I do, but I want to
What
answer
does it mean? What makes the red in the fall leaf? I'll give you a hint. It's mostly in the maple tree.
Yes, I do know the answer to this, but I'll let you guys take a moment to ponder on that answer.
What does the red mean in the leaf? What is happening in the tree to make the red color?
Yeah, because of this thing is in the leaf, it becomes more red.
In the tree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things, actually.
Which is why maple trees are so vibrant in color.
Well, you know what? Think about what you get from a maple tree.
That's what I was just going to say.
What do you get from a maple tree?
That's the
Think of that. And it's one of my favorite things.
All right, why don't you answer for the viewers?
Sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
Love sugar. Too much.
The redder in the leaf, the more sugar that leaf is storing.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Wow,
and
yeah,
those beautiful, beautiful colors. But
That
then
is why
I just
maple
thought about
trees
that
is
too.
so
You get maple
vibrant.
sugar. Everyone's be tapping trees. I don't know when you do the tapping of the trees, but I have friends that make their own maple sugar. So, but back to the painting. So we have our different circles. Right now you just have these circles, kind of orbs floating through your grass. So the next step is going to be Sandy is going to have fun doing the petals.
If it's easier for everybody, I don't know who's on Facebook, but if you are on Facebook, I am going to post these videos. I haven't yet. I only have one so far, but when I get the second one, this is actually our third one. I'm going to post them on my Facebook page, so you can also view them there. You also can view them on YouTube. I don't have the actual address, but I'm sure they'll put it under the video or we'll get it to you. So that would be another way to put it back on. Say you did have to stop in the middle for whatever reason and want to catch it later, right?
Yeah.
Also, I believe it's aired on Tuesday and Thursday, but we can give you that information. Yeah. Okay, so petals. I'm going to use, would you say medium or pointy brush should we use? What did you use for it?
I would use medium probably,
Yeah,
because
okay.
most people probably don't have a
So
pointy.
I have my medium brush. You can make your decision on what you think is best, but this is my medium size. And we're gonna, do you think we should do the white first?
You can, so
Yeah.
maybe check, so your middle seems to be a little bit more wet, but on the edges might be okay, so.
So I'm gonna start with white paint. The reason I'm doing that is because the green may not be completely dry yet. White is like a primer, so if we give it a white base, you'll get a nice vibrant yellow on top of it once it dries a bit. So let's start with the petals being white. We're doing this really quickly. We have a lot of petals to do. It's messy. It's abstract looking. We don't want to think about it too much. We're just kind of painting a stroke of a petal. So Tracy, if you have any suggestions, because this is your painting and I just want to make sure that we're doing it right,
no,
but
I
this is
think
how
just
would
you're
do it.
offshooting off, I relate it to like fireworks in a way, like you're going from the center point and you're shooting off of each black circle. And then as you do all the white, keep it as the base, but then when you do the yellow on top of it, if you notice they're overlapping. So the one that Sandy's working on now, she would do later because that's far forward. So, but she's gonna do all the whites just to give you a baseline.
Oh, I gotcha. So she's right. So I'm gonna I'll finish this one, but that's something to think about. We're gonna do our flowers that are further back first. Yes, we do have to do that. But yeah, that'll be important with the yellow. So let me just finish this one, but this one I should have done last. But
Which is fine, because it's just the white, so.
So here's the idea, very easy, like a starburst, messy, whatever. So let me go and do some of this ones further back. So let's just throw
And it's okay if they, overlap each other, once you do the next step of the colors, because it's, they're foreground and background and things like that.
Yeah, so do not be afraid to go over whatever is behind. So I haven't run into that situation yet except for this, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm not afraid. Even though I know this one I'm doing is behind, I'm going to leave it for now, but I'll show you on another one. So there's that one. Okay, so now next one, I guess I'll do this one. This one's behind that one. So let's do this one. So you see how quickly I'm doing this. Don't spend too much time. You do not have to be a perfectionist for it. This is just the white base. We're not even going to see it really. The yellow is going to go right over
It's just giving you a platform to where to put the color. Because if you start to put the yellow on top of the green, it's not going to get the nice colors that you need. Do you know what the heaviest pumpkin ever was?
I'm sure it was big. Didn't somebody live in it?
Oh, there was.
What's that
nursery rhyme?
Peter. No.
Piper picked. No.
Someone's lived in a pumpkin, and
Yes.
there's a rhyme. And
I
it's
know
at
there was a
Storyland.
rhyme. I
It's at
know.
Storyland. It's
It
my
is at
favorite thing at Storyland. You can go
Yes.
inside the
Old
pumpkin.
Mother Hubbard? No.
No,
She lived in a shoe.
Peter.
Peter Piper picked a pumpkin.
No, it's
Peppers.
not that. Someone lived in a pumpkin.
They did live in a pumpkin. I don't know. I'll have to think about
Of
that.
it. Maybe you can Google it while we're doing this. Okay. So what's the answer to what you just suggested?
It was 1,140 pounds. That's a big pumpkin.
Okay, so I did this wrong, but it doesn't matter because
okay.
this one's behind it. I'm going to make it in front. How's that?
There's
so
no,
we don't
there's
really
no
care.
wrong in painting.
No, there isn't any wrong in painting.
Not at all. It looks great, Sandy. You're doing a super
Tracey.
job.
Okay.
Okay.
Now green is mixing in with my white, but you know what? I like it. It's pretty, so don't even worry. Because the yellow will go over it. The green will mix with the yellow a little bit. I actually love when colors mix. It's not a mistake. I actually think it's beautiful. Sometimes it makes the painting.
Well, it gives it more dimension that way. It's not so flat. Because a lot of times, especially when children paint, they do everything's very 2D.
Yes.
In the sense is everything, there's a yellow sun and the blue sky. And so we like to always have you guys add other colors or mix colors on your brush,
Okay.
or not even mix, dunk them both in different colors. So here's a fact that I did not know about, and which I think is kind of interesting. Pumpkins were once recommended for removing, which I have many of these, freckles and curing
Really?
snake bites.
Wow.
So if I didn't want my freckles, I could have rubbed myself in pumpkin, I guess. Who
Wow.
knew? I know, right?
I love freckles.
Oh, I have many.
They're so cute.
Especially with the sun.
Yeah,
I was
I
joking,
get
I'm
them
like,
with the
I have a
sun,
tan.
too.
I'm like,
get
no,
them
you're
with the
just
sun.
freckled, Mom. And did you know pumpkin flowers are edible?
I do because I read it just over there when
Oh,
you when you saw
okay.
it.
See,
I
she's
did
cheating
know
now.
that.
She's cheating.
I did.
I did not know
No,
that
I didn't
either.
know that. That's kind of neat to know, actually.
So I guess if you want to,
I'm going to
in
be
the pumpkin
eating the
patch
pumpkin
and you're hungry, you can
I
eat a
actually
pumpkin
tried
flower.
to grow pumpkins. Was it? I think last year, but they didn't do too good. They got like diseased, but we did have them. They were growing small. I think it's hard to grow pumpkins.
We
You
had
have to have
some
the right
random
conditions.
pumpkin like one year because I guess the seeds from
Oh,
the pumpkin
really?
like got gross and we like maybe
Really?
threw it to the side and all of a sudden there's this pumpkin growing like in our front yard. We're like, okay,
Wow.
guess we have our own pumpkin patch this year. Yeah, and the big question for everybody is, I don't know if it affects the seniors as much or whoever's watching this video, is Halloween happening?
Oh,
Everyone's been wondering.
I love Halloween. Yeah,
I know.
So I'm on my last one just to take note.
Some gentleman, I guess, on Facebook was posting. They took a plastic tube. I can't think of the name of it that it's called that you do for piping, and they put it on his railing of his stairs, and so he could like shoot the candy down the pole to the kids. I was like, that's kind of neat. There's definitely social distance involved in that. I actually joked and said we can just throw them at the children walking by. Like if you see them, just whip them at them, kind of like parade. You know, they're already prepared for the parade,
Right,
whipping
yeah.
at them, but they're moving. Oh, that could be a whole new game experience happening.
Okay. So now I believe.
I think you should make that
one
one
longer?
longer.
Yeah.
Yes, that overlap on the grass.
you're right.
Definitely. Keep in mind the petals on sunflowers are really big, so keep that in
you're right.
mind.
Yeah, so don't skimp them.
Don't
like
make
I
it
just
look like
did.
daisies. Make them more like sunflowers. Nice, big, huge flowers.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, that looks good. Yeah, and you might want to also start thinking about what you want to put on your sign. It doesn't have to say hay rides, pumpkins, and apples.
Oh yeah, make it fun and
It
customize
can say
it.
like name your family, name your children, name your pets. It could be, we've done so many things with signs and people come up with really funny different inside jokes that they know with their friends and family. So you can have it say whatever you choose. You could have it say sunflowers. You could have it say fresh picked flowers. I know locally around here, I think it's Parley Farm or whatever, you can go cut your own fresh flowers.
Yay.
You can definitely do that. So there's definitely a lot of options you can put on your signs. It doesn't have to be the 3 words. It could be, you know, 1 word. It could be 4 words. So you definitely can customize it any way you choose.
Okay, so I'm just about done with this. So I don't think we need dry time, right? We'll go right to the yellow.
No, I think you can go right into the
So
yellow.
I'm going to attempt to go right to the yellow, see what happens without the dry time.
And you're going to get a little bit of variation too, because it's going to be more yellow in some spots and then also white, because you're going to be adding yellow to it. So you want to have that also dimension.
Okay, so I'm going to jump to the yellow. So it looks like you have orange and yellow.
I do have a little bit of
how are we
orange
doing
and
that?
yellow. Yep. So, you know, if you wanted to mix a little bit of the red with the yellow also beforehand, you could add a little orange, but maybe start with the yellow and then pull some orange.
All right, so everyone, this is there's 3 colors in these petals. You can do whatever you want. You do not have to do the 3 colors. We have yellow, a little bit orange. Is there brown in it?
There is, I don't think, any brown in
We
those.
can do that at the end if we do the brown dots in the middle. So right now we're just going to focus on yellow and a tiny, tiny bit of orange. Don't use too much orange, and you don't even need to use orange at all. You already have white base. You can still use white again if you want. I like to put 2 colors on the brush at the same time. I always feel like you get the best result from that. So before we do anything, I need to mix orange. So to mix orange, we're mixing red and yellow. So let's mix a little bit of orange in our plate, just so we have that. Make sure your brush is clean. You don't want any of the other colors in this while you're mixing, like green.
Do you have any idea, Sandy, or those watching at home, how big the largest pumpkin pie was? How many pounds?
Oh boy.
You need a lot of whipped cream and ice cream with that. Yum.
How many pounds?
Yeah, how many pounds the largest pumpkin pie ever made was?
Is it more than 7 pounds?
Yeah.
It's more than that, a pie?
A pumpkin pie. It's over 100 pounds.
Oh,
more than
over
that.
100. How big
Okay,
was it?
more than that. Go higher.
More than 100 pounds? How big was
350
it?
pounds. Largest pumpkin pie ever made was over 5 feet in diameter and weighed 350 pounds. It used 80 pounds of cooked pumpkin, 36 pounds of sugar, my favorite, 12 dozen eggs, and took 6 hours to bake. Where did they bake this pie?
Like how big was it? Give me an idea.
5 feet. Me, my height, a little less 3 inches. So it was big as high as me. See? High as me.
Wow. All right, so just to stop for a minute, I lied. I'm going to just use orange, and I'm going to very little orange, and I'm just giving a hint of color right at the base and kind of spreading it out on just everyone real quick, and then I'll do the yellow over it. And we'll see what happens with that.
Painting magic with Sandy.
Tracey might be mad at me for this, but I don't care. I'm doing
not mad.
it.
It's Friday.
Do whatever you want.
No worries.
I think it's gonna work.
I mentioned earlier pumpkin fudge. Does everyone have a pumpkin fudge? Oh my God, it's so good if you
No,
love
I
pumpkin.
never did.
Oh,
You know,
so good.
I hate to say it, I'm not a big pumpkin person. I like
Okay.
I'm just.
So would you rather apple spice or pumpkin? Apple spice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not even a big apple pie person. I do love blueberry pie.
I'm not a big blueberry. I
Pumpkin.
can't do the blue. Like I can't eat
I like
blueberries by
Boston cream
themselves.
pie.
Oh yes, Boston cream.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
a chocolate. I'm a
Yeah,
chocolate
me
person.
too. Yes, that's the sugar problem.
And I do like my apple cider donuts like a lot.
Oh, me too. Yes.
That I love.
Yes. You get very orange flowers.
That's okay. Yellow's going
that's
over
all
it.
right.
So don't overdo. She's trying to tell me I overdo the orange, but that's because she was talking and we were getting carried away. But it's all good because yellow's going over it, and you can even put a little white if you want to hide some orange, and it's all good to go. That's
And it's
the
also
nice thing
nice
about
because it's another
acrylics.
option. Like if you didn't want to have yellow flowers, you may have
we have
orange and you
Gerber
love orange.
daisies.
There you go, Gerber daisies. This is a sunflower Gerber daisy painting.
We'll make it work.
It's all good.
I'm gonna do yellow right now.
I would add a little bit of white maybe, but
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll try it. Tracy says to add white.
I could be wrong, but
No, I
that's-
think you're right.
That's my tip from over here from.
So which one did I start with? The bottom? I think it was.
Well,
wasn't
you
it?
don't though.
See how
because
pretty that is. But you
but
know what, Tracy?
keep in
I
mind
think
you're
I
gonna-
want deep. I want deep yellow.
But they don't probably have deep yellow. Keep that in mind.
So this is taking some of me and Tracy getting used to because we paint with lots
colors.
of different colors. that we don't have to mix. So we have been having challenged to stick with the primaries for you guys, because I believe that's what you have to paint with. So yeah, it's challenging because we go right to the exact sunflower color we want, but now I just have the basic yellow.
Keep
but
in
that's
mind
fine.
the bottom, remember the bottom sunflowers overlapping the other flower, so.
Yeah, I know, but
You really love that sunflower.
it's only because I did this one first.
That's okay.
You know, I'll go back. Just don't be my mom.
I promise. I won't make your lunch for you.
Okay. Well, I don't mind you do that.
Oh.
All right, any more trivia?
I'm trying to think. I'm looking right now as I scroll all my fun facts here.
So if you feel like you need a dry time, take a dry time. I'm still going, but take a dry time if you feel you need it, if you're orange or whatever, if it's mixing too much. But white, if you're feeling like the orange is mixing with the yellow, either give it a dry time or use more white.
So the other fun word in our little sign there has to do with hay rides. Have you ever gone on hay rides?
I love hay rides, yes.
Well, the worst part is when you get a hay ride when there's so much like random hay in there, and then the kids decide to throw it around everywhere, and then you get hay like in your sweater and in your pants and your socks. So they actually have a neat hay ride. There's not even any hay on it. If you like Halloween stuff, I think we talked about this before. Witches Woods in Westford, they do a really fun. If you guys like any kind of fun haunted stuff. They do a hay ride, well, a ride, no hay, but it's very, very cool. I went there with my daughter and her friends last year, and the people can't touch you, but they can get very close to you. So, yeah, it's kind of a fun, scary, fun thing. Oh, yeah, it was super fun. And then they have all the different, they have 4 different, I think they're actually going to open this year is what I've seen. They're limiting ticket prices and everything, but like Canopy Lake is also open. But I think they're allowing people to get tickets beforehand to limit amount of numbers, but because it is outside at least, which is kind of cool.
And remind me where it is again, sorry.
Westford. It's Neshoba area.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
really?
it's really, really neat. They do an amazing job there.
I go to all the haunted things.
Oh, the spooky worlds and stuff?
I go to so there's a really, you put me on the spot now, I can't think of the town it was in, but it was great.
Oh, was it Sterling?
It was Noah.
There's usually a big one.
If you can know the name of it, I'll know. It was great. It was a long walkthrough, and it was really scary, and it was just really good. And you know what? Canopy Lake is always one of the best ones.
Well, I don't know if they're doing that this year. They can't. So I think they're doing some other kind of. I saw something about food trucks or something this weekend. Everything you have to buy tickets online now. You're very limited. There's like mask break spaces. I think like everything's definitely very different.
Yep.
Right now. So, but yes, Canopy is actually open. You also keep in mind you want to have them be more staggered. So if you look at yours, as I just suggest to Sandy, is you're so close to it, you're not looking at it, you want to step back a little bit because you want to make sure the petals that some of them are longer and others and shorter. So if you look at the one on her on the top, her left, you see that they're more exactly the same. So you want to make some of them a little more.
All right, so I'll go over that when I do the next round over it. I'll fix it. So you can fix any. So the nice thing is acrylics, you can fix anything. You go right on top of it, and they are pretty fast drying, believe it or not.
No, it definitely is. But as we say though too, is you definitely want to step back and look at it because you can go over and over and over, and then somebody will always get frustrated because it gets. I always called it like muddy. Because you get so much paint on there that you just keep going over and over and over and you're not going to get anywhere. If that's the case, feel free. You can take your rag or your paper towel, wipe it off a little bit, then kind of rework it. I've done that many times in a painting without an issue.
Wow, this looks like kaleidoscope tie-dye.
That's okay.
I like it.
I guess you could pull, if you wanted to, a little brown in it so you get a little bit darker.
I think I'm going to do that when I pull the brown with the dots, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to do it, mix it with the yellow. So you guys don't get crazy with this. I know I might be confusing you a little because I literally went over my orange a little bit with white again, but that just shows you how nice the acrylics are. You can hide whatever color. But don't overthink it. It can be as abstract, messy as you want. In the end, when you step back, it's going to look like a field of sunflowers. So don't overthink it or get too crazy. Sometimes me and Tracey don't know what to expect when we paint these because number one, I told you about the paints. We're not used to working with primaries, mixing, so I can't get my real true color that I really wanted to get.
It's more about the experience and enjoying, being artistic.
Well, what happens is it opens doors for new things. Like, so I do like this. It's very abstract looking, but
all my paintings are abstract.
Yeah, they are. It makes you. Think outside the box and do things.
Well, just
different.
a good way to spend the day. Just kind of put some nice music on. Kind of watch the painting. Have a cup of tea or if you do it at night, a beverage of adult beverage of some sort, or you could have some apple cider with a little bit of something extra, maybe some Fireball in there, or not. I don't know.
All right, so now we have the black center. So Tracey, is it your time to come now? Switch over? Who's doing am I doing the brown?
Sure, you can do the brown. I'll just be Gelman.
No, you're supposed to do the pole.
Oh, I'm doing the pole? All right.
Why, are you scared to do the pole? You want me to do it?
That means she's
afraid to do it, I'll do it.
You can do the pole.
Okay, I'll do the pole. All right, so do we need dry time? Let's give it a little dry time.
You can give it a little dry time.
A tiny bit of dry time. While the dry time is
happening,
happening,
you do that little dots and stuff in the
inside the middle.
The black, because it's dry. Those are dry.
All right, so we are going to add a tiny bit of brown dots on top of the black centers of the sunflower.
Yeah, it's definitely more, we call it a dry brush effect. I would say that there isn't a lot on there. It just gives it just the brown.
The brown, dry brush.
Yeah.
So you don't want your brush too wet. You want it to be somewhat dry so that we see the brown on top of the dark black background. And I have a little brown. And I'm just messy. Brown on top.
Yeah, they're even saying that apples can range from the size of a little larger than a cherry to as large as a grapefruit. I've definitely seen at Whole Foods sometimes some of these apples are ginormous, like almost as big as grapefruits.
I have a trivia question about sunflowers.
Okay.
Which artist has the famous sunflower painting? Which famous historical artist has the famous sunflower painting? It could be called Sunflowers, I'm not sure.
Is it Georgie O'Keeffe?
No, you know this.
Art school paid off. I was listening that day.
Paid off.
Woohoo! You're in shock that I knew that, aren't you?
No, that's not the answer.
Oh, I thought that was the answer.
No, it was wrong. I was like,
didn't you think I had the answer?
No,
I thought I had the answer.
This. I just talked about it before we started filming. That I'm doing it with the kids in school next week.
Oh, Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Sorry, okay.
The famous sunflower painting by Van Gogh.
I like my Georgie O'Keeffe answer.
It's so funny that you're joking.
I thought I got it right. I was all excited. Yes, Van Gogh. Yes, correct. Van Gogh. We actually have one similar. I think back behind. If you,
you can pull it because it's.
Well, I don't want to pull it because it's literally right there.
Oh, yep. Yeah, don't pull it. It'll come down on my head.
We don't need any.
We don't want to pull that.
Any, problems happening with the paintings.
No, we don't.
Yes, but speaking of the paintings, if I don't know if you can see it or not, the Barchard back there. There's the two lovebird. Or two paintings. That actually is going to be, that is going to be
Which
January,
one?
December? Right there, behind us. This one right here, that one back there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a future painting that we have.
So that's 2 months from now. So we're
so
October,
that's going to be
November. Show the November one.
That's December then. So that's December. And then I will bring this in
November is getting ready for the holidays, so we thought that was a nice one.
And this is going to be November. And you can customize this also, so that will be November's painting. So this will be November, and then the other one will be December. And look we didn't have any casualties. Woohoo!
Yeah, don't jinx us though. They can come later.
Okay, don't say, okay. Put the positivity out there. Hakuna Matata, I would always say. Does you know what that means? What does Hakuna Matata mean?
It's like, good vibes or something. Okay, give me a hint.
I know what it means. I've been saying this to you for 7 years.
Yeah, let me think. It's all good. It's all good.
Means no worries.
No worries.
Means no worries. Okay. Yes. So that's the theme. always, when you paint with Sandy and Tracy, is
No worries.
No worries.
Like,
Hakuna
look at what I'm
Matata.
doing here. No worries.
She's just putting dots all over the place.
I'm adding a little red to it.
Sandy likes
No,
to
I'm gonna and
get
then
a
I'm
little
gonna cover
creative.
it with black. I do. And Tracy gets mad at me. Okay. It's okay.
As she
It's all good.
digresses.
It's all good because black covers right over. Okay.
These are like happy sunflowers, just like Bob Ross.
I'm showing
you know.
everybody how to make it their own. That's what I'm doing.
It's all, yes, exactly.
And now look how beautiful it is.
It's beautiful.
So you just throw a little black
You
on
do a good
top,
job.
dots. You, just
You should
do
teach
what
painting.
you want. Yeah. All right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we have to keep under our time frame, but I'm just about done. So just make these, I put a lot of different colored dots, just don't overkill because you definitely want it to be overall dark black or brown, but I did add a little bit of, I mixed a little red with my brown, like a Venetian red, and added a couple dots to it, and then you can do some highlights with white maybe or yellow, but just on the outer edge, I guess.
And now she's going to do her post.
I am, and Tracy was supposed to do it, but she's making me do it. That's okay.
Well, you're doing such a great job.
Okay. All right. So.
And I'm Gelman over here, so.
Okay. So I think it's looking good, Trace. All right. So now the post. You're giving it a little bit of dry time. Mine might be a tacky wet, but we're gonna just go with it. Okay. So to do the post, you need to make straight lines. Whatever brush you feel most comfortable doing. Normally, I'd say the little detail. Most people are comfortable using the little detail brush. But for me, no, I use the medium because I get a nice flat edge on it. And it helps me to make a straight line like this. So whatever you're most comfortable doing, whatever brush. Okay, so I have my brown paint and I'm going to make a straight line. So where is this pole? If I measure to the, I guess the right side, if I'm looking at the canvas, it's about 3 fingers in. So if I put my 3 fingers here and I mark a dot or a mark there, I know that's this side of the pole. How wide is the pole? 2.5, 3 fingers close together. So I'll do 3 fingers close together. So if I put my 3 fingers close together and mark another mark, I know that's the left side of my pole.
Keep in mind, the wider the pole, then the bigger your actual signboards can be. You don't want to have a super little skinny pole in these big signboards because it might, it might not look correct.
So I'm gonna add a little bit of black to mine. You don't have to do that. I just want you to see what I'm doing, so I need it to be darker. So now we're gonna draw a straight line. We're not gonna think too much about it, and we're going right up to the top of the canvas, which is super easy. So some people start at the top and go down. Some people start down and go up. I don't know what I do. I'm gonna find out right now. There's that.
And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight because
No,
it's just a pole.
rickety old, worn out old pole, right? So
Yeah.
there we go. So how far do I want this pole to go down? Well, that's up to you, but I'm gonna go down to this sunflower. So I'm gonna tuck it right behind the petals somehow, and we'll go at the very end. The last step of the painting is we'll go over those petals right over the pole to fix them. But for now, there we go. Okay. So my yellow's wet. I don't know if your yellow petals are wet, but mine are a little bit wet, so I'm going to add a lot of white to this pole right now. The goal is to have the pole be mostly brown, but I need white to hide the yellow. So let's try this and hope it's dry enough.
Well, you just get a little bit of variety color in it.
So I think I'm going to use my wide brush, but again, you can use whatever brush you're most comfortable using. All right, so my blue is dry, so I can do mostly brown up here. I'm a little worried about the bottom, but I'm gonna do white here. So I have to cover this black and yellow. So see how nicely that white covers? Mostly if it's dry, it will really cover nicely. So the nice thing is white's a primer. It will cover any acrylic paint, any color. That's the nice thing about the white.
So she's just kind of
So
blocking
you
it out.
can fix any mistake when you're painting these by letting it dry and covering it back up with white. These paintings on the wall all across my studio, I always get a kick out of it. There are paintings underneath them. We paint over a painting we don't like. We gesso. Gesso is like a white primer consistency, like a paint. We gesso over the whole thing and then we repaint a whole painting on top. I can tell you which ones. I can see them almost, the lines.
Well, the thing is too is for a time being, we have one called Mittens, and everyone wanted to do mittens. We'd have like 3 different parties in 1 week. Everyone wanted mittens. So every time we do in a painting, we would have the new painting that we would do. So we'd have like 15 versions of mittens, which we didn't need. So we would always just, oh, we added some black, I see.
I know, I knew you were going to say that. I have a rhyme and reason to it. I know what I'm doing.
She does.
I know what I'm doing.
There's lots of blending happening. Just please
Yeah,
bear
I just
with
have
her.
to let it dry for a minute.
So yes, once again, think
So
about what
are
you
we
wanna...
doing the cross post yet, or should I get the brown right?
I would get the brown
How are we
right.
doing on time?
I think
Any idea?
we're doing good.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah?
Okay. So I need to let that dry a minute. So why don't I'll sketch out the cross pieces. So while I'm letting this dry, I do need to let it dry a minute. We're gonna do sketch out the cross piece. So I'm gonna use the baby brush. So I'm using my detail brush for this, which is the real small one, okay? And we have 3. You can add as many signs as you want. I guess I'm gonna do the 3 like Tracy has. And so we're gonna start at the top. So there's barely a finger space at the top before this one starts. So we can mark a spot. If I put my finger there, I know it'll start somewhere there. I don't know, how wide is it? So how far does it go beyond the pole? About 4 fingers. So 4 fingers, and we can put it there. So it's broken, roughed up wood, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
Yeah.
So we're just basically...
Like wood panels or pieces or...
Right, and then we can just scratch
so
the
they
edge.
don't have to be completely straight.
So here's a question, how high is it? About 3 fingers, not even?
Yeah, I'd say.
2, 3 fingers, and then we go right off this way. So there's 1, okay? And now that you've done 1, you can do the other ones very simple. Make them a little bit,
Crooked.
yeah, angle it a little bit more. So you got about 3 fingers between till the next one. So mark a
visualize
dot.
some guy, he's a farmer, works at the farm, and they like, oh, go put these on there. He's just gonna take a nail and put them in real quick.
Yep, Farmer Joe.
Farmer Joe.
And then there's my next one.
Why not Farmer Pete?
Farmer Pete.
Okay.
Farmer Sandy, Farmer Tracy. Okay, so there we go.
Beautiful.
So we can fill that in now. That'll be nice and easy because we know our blue's dry. So let's fill that in.
I'm not minding your black actually. It gives a little nice highlight
I told
there.
you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Look at that. Some dimension.
So Tracy, have you been thinking about what you're going to put in your signs? Maybe you should do something different than the hayrides and apples and pumpkins.
We could put sunflowers.
We could, yep.
We could. Fresh picked flowers. We could put Sandy and Tracy. Or Sandy, Tracy, superheroes.
We could put...
Fall is fun.
I'm thinking
Fall 2020.
I was thinking of Tewksbury, like we do Livingston
Tewksbury
Street,
Tough. Oh,
like
yeah. Oh no, Crockmall.
that's
Crockmall Farm.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Crockmall Farm in Tewksbury. If no one's ever been to Crockmall, I believe they're a family-owned farm, and they have animal. I don't know if they're open, but they've done. I know hay rides in the past.
It's been a
and
while
stuff,
since
and,
I've been there, but I used to go with the kids when they were
Oh yeah,
small.
when they're little, yeah, super fun. They have bonfires and like I said, well, check them out. I guess if you're local in Tewksbury and you want to check out Crockmall Farm. I know they've done stuff in the past. I mean, they're outdoors, so maybe they might be open and probably looking for some business. They may have pumpkins that you could go pick. I think actually I took my daughter there years ago, and they had Elmo too that was there visiting.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep, and you have a picture of her. She wasn't keen on the Elmo situation. Which is, you know, these big come-to-life stuffed animals is a little creepy.
So I'm throwing a little black just to give it accent color, but don't do too much because I believe your lettering will be in black, so you want that to show up without, you know, too much taken away from it.
And if you notice, her boards are a lot more brown than mine, which is totally fine. I mean, the boards can be darker brown or lighter brown, whatever you choose. I mean, if you had them also on the darker side, if you wanted to go really dark, you could also write your lettering in white. So you also have that option.
So one thing I learned over the years, working with kids, children, adults, seniors, everybody, when you try too hard or be a perfectionist, you're not going to be happy with it. When you have carefree and it's mostly just fun, you're just having a good time doing it, you shock yourself and you go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It looks so good. But it's true. When you let go and you just have fun like I did with those sunflowers, you'll...
You'll get more out of it.
surprise you that like, wow, I didn't try, because when you try too hard and you're a perfectionist, which is really the nature of where I come from, I'm a perfectionist, and I've learned over the years to just let that go, and really you get a better quality result of your painting when you're more loose with it and not trying too hard.
It's more about the experience, not the final result.
Yeah. Okay, so Tracy's gonna do her lettering, right?
Oh, sure. Sounds great.
You're afraid to come over here today.
No,
Why?
I'm not afraid.
Why?
I'm not. You're doing a great job.
Okay, but are we done with everything else? If you want to just go over petals one more time at the end, you can do that, and then we do have to drag that down.
See, I'm not the best speller. That's a big joke. That's okay,
You'll do
though.
good.
So I'm going to do apples because that's good. Yes, I always pull the paintings off. It's funny, whenever I teach, I always have to hold the paintings. So yeah, so I would take your smallest brush. You can dip it in your black. Or, well, I'm actually going to add a little bit of white also, I think, for highlights because they're a little bit darker. So I'm just going to write here, apples, A-P-P. Let's spell correctly today. I must love Surrey, though, lately because I'm like, oh, Surrey does it for me. So as you can see, it's a little dark, but you can always go back over it because it is a little wet, so it's not going through 100%, which is fine. So you might want to let that dry a little bit. Keep in mind, when people are writing on the actual signs, they're not going to be perfect. So
I think the white's good, Tracy. Just put a lot of white so you can see it. I do black, then white on top. That looks good.
you can work on that.
It's a pretty painting. I like it.
It's fun. It's very fall.
I like it.
You know. And then let's do donuts. I like donuts.
So we have all these paintings in the studio. I don't even know how many. Most of them are on the website gallery, but it's funny. I look at them and I think, God, how far we've come with all these paintings.
Oh my
it's so hard
gosh.
to believe we painted them all. But where does the ideas come from, Tracy? For the paintings?
Everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, someone maybe will book a party with me and then want me to customize a painting for that party.
Yep, we've done that.
So I'll come up with them that way. Sometimes you just get like some
inspiration.
I want to paint something. Say I want to paint a lighthouse painting, so I'll come up that way.
Well, I love dragonflies. So I do a couple of those.
Yeah, one of them reminds me of my kids fishing. In New Hampshire.
Because mine's sunflower. I do a lot of sunflower. Love sunflowers. Love dragonflies.
Sometimes we'll see a beautiful photograph. I remember my son. We were in Miami.
What else? I'm gonna do pumpkins.
He took a photograph of the sunset of South Beach, and we painted that. That's where that one came from. But they're just I look at them all, and it just reminds me of so many different times that we're inspired to paint something or another.
Yeah. So you can just write whatever words you want on here. And as I had to get smaller because my word is bigger. But you just kind of write it on any, if you really wanted to and you're like, I cannot write in paintbrush, we've suggested that you can use a black Sharpie. So once it's dry and you want to go ahead and you want your words to be perfect or whatever you choose, feel free to get a black Sharpie.
So if you do the black Sharpie, definitely have a lighter background behind it or else you won't see it because then you won't be able to white on top unless you used paint. So if you were going to use Sharpie, do it like the original with the lighter background of the sign.
So once you add the fancy words on there, you can go back in as she was talking about, and you can add overlapping so it doesn't just stop. Same thing, you're just going to come and pull. I'm just going to do a little bit of yellow and white, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull right overlapping. I'll probably do a little more white than yellow because of the overlapping of the sign.
It's so funny how we miss like the deep yellow, the raw sienna color, huh? That's how important all the other in-betweens are. But it's amazing you can mix them all from the primaries.
You can. You definitely
it's
can.
A whole
it's
experimentation. I like it. I love mixing colors. That's pretty. It looks nice.
I actually going to add a little bit more of this. Ooh, look at that.
You sound like Bob Ross.
Ooh, the happy sunflowers.
One of these days, Tracy will be dressed as Bob Ross. We're thinking Halloween time. Yeah, she will. All right, we'll bring Mark in. We'll have a guest appearance.
I have like blondish red hair, nothing like Bob Ross.
We're going to have Bob Ross.
One
of these for Halloween. We'll have him make an appearance.
So you can add and choose as you see. It's a little bit varied. So you can deftly add a little bit. more
And I'll
colors
come
if you
through.
choose on here, a little more highlights if you wanted to. You know, did have to add the black, but you can. Doesn't matter. As you said, they're very similar but different because 2 different people painted it.
Yep, they look
So,
great. It looks great.
Those are the paintings for the day.
And then November. November.
Yep, and then
December is the 2 cardinals. So tune in for our next 2.
Yep.
And thank you for painting with us today.
And I'm Tracy.
And I'm Sandy.
Have a great day.